Merhabalar herkese. Hepiniz IEFT Talks webinarlarına hoş geldiniz. Bugün Dünya Sıralamasında 16. sırada olan Cornell Üniversitesi Mühendislik Yüksek Lisans Programları hakkında öğrenmeniz gereken tüm detayları Jennifer ve Eda Hanım'dan dinliyor olacağız. Lütfen sorularınızı soru cevap bölümünden yönlendirmeyi unutmayın. Yes, Jennifer, the stage is yours now.
Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who is joining us here today. And also thank you to the IEFT team for this opportunity to speak to you about the Cornell University Master of Engineering degrees. So to introduce ourselves, my name is Jennifer Mimno, and I'm the director of the MEng Program's Admissions and Recruitment team. And I'll let my colleague introduce herself.
Herkese merhabalar. Ben Profesör Doktor Eda Çelik Aktur. But I'll continue in English from now on. I'm a teaching professor in Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering Department, and I also am one of the associate directors of our MEng program. Hepiniz hoş geldiniz. Everybody, welcome.
Okay, so for the agenda today, I will be reviewing an introduction to Cornell University in Ithaca, the city that we are in. I will talk a little bit about the Master of Engineering or MEng experience, including the academic, professional, and personal growth you can expect as a student at Cornell. We'll also review applying to Cornell, tuition and deadlines, and of course, at the end, we will leave time for questions. So Cornell excellence is a promise of a level of quality that is recognized both in the US and worldwide, as is seen by the rankings that I have shared here. Cornell is a very large university with a diverse population of students from different cultures and backgrounds. And of course, you'll see from the numbers, slightly less than half of our graduate students are international. So it is a very diverse and welcoming environment. So Cornell was founded in 1865 by Ezra Cornell, pictured here, his statue, and Andrew Dixon White. Ezra Cornell had a vision for the university that is seen in this quote: "I would found an institution where any person can find instruction in any study." So today, Ezra Cornell's vision still remains the foundation of our university. Any person means a commitment to a diverse student body, and any study means that students can choose exactly what they want to study, which often means interdisciplinary studies. Students in our MEng programs that we're discussing today appreciate the flexible curriculum that allows for the cross-disciplinary pursuits. So even though we are here to discuss one degree program in the College of Engineering, I did want to make sure that you understand the scope of Cornell and how many colleges and schools it has. So the list here is all the different colleges and schools that are available. And so the opportunities are very great for expanding your network and also many opportunities for interdisciplinary collaborations. So Cornell's commitment to educational excellence includes state-of-the-art lab facilities, some of which are shown here, and they're spanning many different engineering disciplines. And Eda, I believe you had your start in one of these labs. I think I remember you saying.
Yeah, actually, coincidentally, the bottom middle one is from the lab that I worked in, but this is totally a coincidence. So I was a postdoc myself here at Cornell about 15 years ago, and I returned as a teaching professor actually about 2 years ago. But yeah, it was that. So that bottom middle one is from chemical engineering department. Thank you for remembering that. Yeah, we had talked about this.
Yes. With over 1,000 student clubs and organizations, of course, it is very easy to find friends with common interests. and I've shared just a small sampling of different clubs that students join. So I wanted to orient you and show you where Cornell University is located. It's in Ithaca, New York. For those of you maybe unfamiliar with U.S. geography, New York is this rather triangular shaped state in the Northeast here. And New York City, which I'm sure you all are familiar with, is at the bottom point of the triangle. So you can see that Ithaca is in what is called the upstate region of New York. And it is about 4 hours by car from New York City. And here is a view of our small city. It is located at the base of Lake Cayuga. Cornell is on a hill above the city, so it would be off to the right of the screen and up above on top of the hill. And because of the natural beauty of this area, Ithaca is a popular tourist destination, and Ithaca was voted #1 best small town to visit in 2025. But we are also not that far from many large cities. I already mentioned New York City being about 4 hours away. Philadelphia and Toronto in Canada is about 4 hours away. And then slightly further out, we have Washington, D.C. and Boston about 6 hours away. So you can get to them easily by driving, taking a bus, flying. And we do, sorry.
Oh yeah, please go ahead. But I was just going to mention, maybe that was what you were going to mention. We have a medical school in New York City. Therefore, we have a campus-to-campus bus of Cornell's that goes to New York City. It's quite a nice bus, actually.
Yes, and it leaves from it goes between the two cities multiple times a day. And Ithaca is also home to a small airport, but it does fly a few times a day to 2 New York City area airports, and then from there, of course, you can get anywhere in the world. So there are over 150 waterfalls within 10 miles of Ithaca. And the photo I have here of the waterfall is actually only steps from the engineering quad. So you don't have to go far to see the natural beauty of the area. And I also shared these other pictures to show, for those of you that enjoy outdoors, there are many outdoor activities to participate in all seasons. So now I'm going to discuss the MEng experience. Cornell MEng offers a rigorous curriculum, while the industry-facing nature of the programs bring practical hands-on skills. And I'll be reviewing the academic, professional, and personal growth you can expect during your 2 or 3 semesters as a Cornell MEng student. So first is the academic growth. The first place to start is by selecting your MEng program. With a range of specializations and interdisciplinary opportunities, our programs offer an agile curriculum that keeps up with the fast-moving industry. Cornell students appreciate the ability to customize their academic experience by choosing courses that directly support the individual career objectives and interests that they have. So listed here are all of the MEng programs offered by Cornell. You'll see that there are 14 programs, and then 4 of which also currently offer a distance learning mode. The MEng degree allows you to build on your undergraduate base of knowledge. It is an opportunity to deepen your skill set or pivot in a new direction. I want to stress that you do not need to continue in the same field that you studied for your undergraduate education. It can be an opportunity to expand the breadth of your education by trying a new discipline or a complementary discipline. So,
by the way, Sorry, may I just quickly note that I see some questions in the Q&A section, but we'll come to that at the very end. Please feel free to type them right now. I'm watching out for them, but yeah, we'll come to that at the end, I wanted to say.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so how the MEng degree works. Some of you might not be familiar with what a Master of Engineering degree is, so I always like to start off with explaining the difference between a Master of Engineering degree and the Master of Science degree, which is typically the more well-known degree. So the focus of a Master of Science or an MS degree is research, and that often leads to a position in academia, research fields, and many students will choose to go on for further study, leading to a PhD. The MEng degree, on the other hand, is a professional degree. It is a degree for people who want to apply what they have learned and have a career in industry. So most of our MEng degrees can be completed in 2 semesters, though some offer the option of 3 semesters of study. So if you take a look at this table, it shows the main components of the MEng degree. So of the coursework, there are 30 credits to complete for the degree, and that will be made up of your core and elective classes. So each program will have a certain core requirement that every student must complete, and then the rest of the schedule you can fill with your elective classes, and those could be from other departments, other schools and colleges. Anything that supports the education that you want to achieve while you're here. And then usually about 4 to 6 of the credits are the MEng project, and that some programs will call it the design project, others will call it the capstone project, but it is sort of the culminating activity, sort of the equivalent of the Master of Science research thesis. So for MEng, you complete the project. And of course, as a professional degree, there is a lot of opportunity for professional development along the way. And I've listed here, some of the different options available to our students because we want to ensure that as part of the experience, our students are gaining the professional skills that employers value and make them, highly desirable when they are on the job market. And Edda, I believe we discuss this slide.
So hello again, and for those of you who maybe joined us at a later point, I'm a teaching professor in the Department of Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering. That's why I wanted to leave most of the talk to Jennifer, who's our great, and she knows she's the administrative support for all these programs, so she knows the overall umbrella. But I would like to kind of chip in with an exemplary schedule from our department. And I also want to highlight, maybe in Turkish, we call these programs, it's similar in a sense to what we call them Tesis Yüksek Lisans Programı. And it's kind of like that because you don't necessarily prepare a thesis just similar to the ones that you would do in a Master of Science degree. But here you have, as you see in the program here, you do have a design project. It's a team-based project generally for some programs. In our program, it's a team-based project. And it's often in collaboration with an industry partner. So, and you see here several required courses, and it's total of 30 credits that you complete in just 2 semesters. And you really hit the ground running. It's a really ambitious program, but it's doable, of course. And as you see, it's also very, as Jennifer was mentioning, it's any person, any study. So we kind of have a very flexible program. And you can enroll from many different disciplines into even this chemical engineering program, even from maybe chemistry major or biology major or another engineering discipline. So it's STEM based, and our department recently had a recognition which is interesting in as an on-campus master's in data science for AI and machine learning. So we have a heavy scope in data science and artificial intelligence even in our program. We have 3 focus areas in our department. So it's data science and artificial intelligence. We call it DAISY. Medical and industrial biotechnology. We call that MIB. And a third focus area is energy and economics. But these are kind of the major paths. And for instance, I lead the medical and industrial biotechnology focus area, and I design projects with our industry collaborators. For instance, this semester we're doing a project with Merck, the big pharmaceutical company. And then another group, for instance, in our energy focus area is doing a project with Tesla, another big company you probably all know. So we have various options, and again, we have students from many different disciplines. Of course, not every department is cohort-based. Not every department offers solely industry-based projects. Some departments are a bit more like research-based projects that you may find. So, explore the options. You don't necessarily have to go into your own discipline. That's what I wanted to highlight in this slide specifically, but we'll have a chance to talk other topics at the end, perhaps depending on your questions. All right, I'll leave it back to Jennifer.
Okay, thank you. Next, we'll be discussing professional growth. So career-ready skills are integral, of course, to industry-aligned learning. And the industry alignment is centered around understanding success is carried out not just through technical skills, but going the extra mile with leadership, communication, and negotiation skills. Cornell Engineering has dedicated career services staff who work with MEng students and provide an array of support opportunities from one-on-one advising, skill building workshops, and opportunities to interact with alumni in the program. Cornell MEng students also have the opportunity to take professional development courses listed here in order to hone skills that will assist them during their job search. And then finally, Cornell MEng students will have many opportunities to attend recruitment events with employers, as you can see from this photo that I'm sharing here.
It's from one of our career fairs, right?
Yes. Yes, and they happen, the big ones happen twice a year, and then there's usually some smaller, employers will visit campus and hold smaller events.
Yes. For instance, we have also an industry council days in our department. So departments do sometimes hold recruitment days within their departments as well.
I wanted to discuss career outcomes. So having an MEng degree can impact your career in various ways. So first, MEng graduates can expect to earn more than their bachelor's degree counterparts. And you'll see on the slide the average reported salaries from 2025. And please note that the average varies by program and industry, and I've only included the outcomes for United States-based jobs. Second, MEng graduates can expect to get promotions faster and take on leadership roles sooner, thanks to an accelerated advancement trajectory. And then finally, employers value MEng graduates for the skills that they have, and that translates to benefits like promotions and greater responsibility. So as a professional program, we are very invested in the outcomes of our students. And as you've already heard, you can expect to be supported throughout your job search process.
And maybe I can take a note at that point. So one of the companies who visited our department during our industry council days, I think it was Regeneron, and they noted that they had a salary bump for Master of Engineering degree holders, similar to those who have a Master of Science degree holders. So some companies, of course, not every company does this, but some companies hold it equivalent that when you hold a MEng or a MS degree, it's a master's degree, and you would get that salary bump, the higher salary level when you hold that degree. So it's quite advantages, perhaps rather than if you're planning to go to the industry. If you want to do a 1-year program, it's kind of more advantages, perhaps.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, so on this slide, I was sharing examples of recent MEng graduate placement, and I'm just showing some examples of jobs and industries where our graduates were either starting or continuing their careers. So at the a requirement for graduation for our MEng students is to complete an exit survey in which they are supposed to share things like, where they have gotten a job and what salary and what position, and all this data gets collected together. And then we also will revisit the survey and send it out usually in 3 to 6 months after graduation to capture those people who get their jobs later. Not before graduation. So we have a lot of data on students from about the past 15 or more years. And so it's very exciting to see all these different opportunities that our graduates from our program are able to take advantage of. And the pathways that I'm highlighting here are not exhaustive lists, but merely to showcase some of the top companies and high demand industries that are hiring graduates from multiple MEng programs across Cornell. And I couldn't fit it all on one slide, so I have 2 slides here, and I'm showing 4 more major industries that are hiring our students. And I wanted to stress again, some of you might already know which program you're interested in, and others might be considering a few options. But regardless of your situation, you should keep an open mind that there may be many pathways to the career that you want. And again, I know I keep mentioning this, but I think it's a very exciting feature of our programs that the flexible curriculum offered by the MEng programs, students can choose a concentration or a focus area, often with the option of taking elective courses outside of their home program. So as you consider your options, I encourage you to reach out to specific programs or talk to current students and alumni of the MEng program to determine which program might be the right fit for you. And I'll have information later on about how you can connect with people. I did want to talk about working in the United States. So, completing your MEng degree at Cornell does allow you to stay on your student visa and work at a U.S. company for up to 3 years after graduation before you would need to apply for a work visa. And this is done through something called optional practical training, or OPT. And because you're engineering students, you're eligible for the STEM OPT extension. So OPT is usually 1 year, and then the STEM OPT is for 3 years. And I have 2 examples here of recent MEng graduates who are taking advantage of this STEM OPT. And you can see Xiangxi is working for a startup company actually called iSky, and is located in Reno, Nevada. And if your U.S. geography is not good, that is out west near California. So he traveled quite a distance from Ithaca after graduating, and that's where he's working right now. And Janavi is also out west. She's working in San Francisco, California, for a company called Persona. So it is an option that a lot of our international students like to take advantage of. And then, after the STEM OPT period finishes, maybe their company is, thinks very highly of them and wants to sponsor their work visa, or maybe it's like I've had my U.S. work experience and now I want to return home. And Edda, did you have something to add?
Oh, sorry, when you finish.
Yeah, please.
So I also wanted to highlight, I think students are on usually F1 type visa, as much as I know from our international students. And I think with that visa, they're allowed to, during their education period, they're allowed to take on some campus jobs as well. Maybe some like teaching assistantship positions or proctoring exams. There's an hour limit on that, I believe. So there's I don't know, like a 15 or 20 hours limit for students to take on campus jobs, right? So that's another thing I wanted to highlight. I think I saw a related question.
And Edda, I think you're going to.
Oh, okay. This is me as well. So here we wanted to introduce two of our Turkish students. One is an alumnus actually on the next slide. So Sarp was from our engineering management program, is currently doing our engineering management program. He's from Istanbul Technical University. And the reason he chose Cornell is, again, like Jennifer highlighted in the beginning, is any person, any study. And he says this education philosophy provides a fertile ground to create your own customized education journey by experiencing cross-departmental collaboration. I think he worded this really well. There is a great deal of cross-departmental collaboration. And through this QR code, you can actually chat with Sarp. He kindly agreed to give his information that he would love to connect with you all if you have further questions. So and then on the next slide we have Mert, who's an alumnus of our program, and he did the ORI program. So that is Operations Research and Information Engineering. That's not a very common program. Maybe I can say that in Turkish, it's very similar to our industrial engineering program. So we don't have this program, I believe, in many universities. So our students may not be familiar with that. Endüstri mühendisliğine çok benzeyen bir program. And he's currently working for a US based company, but he's working in Turkey's office. But right after graduation, he actually took advantage of the OPT. So he did work in New York City for about a year and a half after graduation, and then wanted to take a position back in Turkey. And again, for him, he said that why Cornell? He said, the flexible curriculum let me explore across ORI plus computer science plus business and management courses and shape my interests more deliberately. And he also mentioned that the learning styles differed from what I was used to in Turkey at first, but Cornell's resources made it easier to ramp up. I also would agree with that. Here, the students are really hardworking. Everybody's, but they also know how to, of course, enjoy while getting their degree, enjoy their time. And yes, there's a lot of student support systems here. So once you adapt, and there are a lot of resources to help you adapt, you shouldn't really be afraid of the system being much different.
I did want to talk a little bit more about Cornell alumni. So it's not just the Ivy League education and all that it entails that can have an impact on your career, but also having access to the Cornell alumni network. offers many benefits. So Cornell began offering the Master of Engineering degree in the 1960s. So today we graduate close to 1,000 MN students per year across the 14 different programs. And our alumni network is over 17,000 individuals. And we like to say that once you're a Cornellian, you are always a Cornellian. And this photo is from our MEng event at the reunion that we hold every June. We have one coming up in a few weeks. So each year it's really fantastic to see how many MEng students return to campus for this event, and then we talk to them and we learn from them, how successful they are and where they're working, and how they've been having so many successes in their career, and they also are very generous with their time with the current MEng students. So each year at orientation, we have an alumni panel who share their wisdom with the incoming class. And as I mentioned, alumni are also very willing to join events that the Career Services team hold throughout the year. So it's a great asset of the program. So I wanted to also discuss the personal growth that you can experience as an MEng student. So in addition to the academics and professional development, you also will be making valuable connections during your time as an MEng student. For Cornell engineers, it's not just what you do, but who you are. And so you'll expect to make lifelong friendships, cultivate mentors, and have numerous opportunities to extend not just your professional network, but your personal network as well. So I pulled together some photos that show, the connections that students make inside the classroom, but also outside of the classroom. And there's just lots of opportunities for that.
The bottom right photo was also from our department, by the way. It was Professor Yang with their MEng team from last year.
Okay.
That's another, good one.
So now that I reviewed all the ways you can experience growth as a Cornell MEng student, I wanted to emphasize that you will not be on this journey alone. So I think in the picture you can see that some of us are wearing t-shirts that say one MEng, and by that what we mean is that there's one community, one support system, and one mission to help every student grow personally and professionally. So no matter what program you choose, you'll have access to a dedicated support system, our support team, career development resources, and a collaborative network that spans all of Cornell engineering. So you'll join a vibrant community invested in your success while you're a student, in your career, and beyond. And yes, and this is a group photo from a recruitment event that we had last September. And then for international students, this is not part of engineering, but it's part of the Cornell University has an international services team that is there to support all of our international students with things like visa issues, OPT, and more. So they are a great team, and they're always available to our students for help, any type of help. Okay, so now I wanted to talk about applying to Cornell. So good question is, who should apply? So in terms of background, students are expected to have an appropriate technical background, which means a degree in engineering is not necessary as long as you've acquired the necessary knowledge, technical knowledge to help you succeed. So usually at minimum, the expectations are that all of our applicants should have the calculus 1, 2, 3 sequence and a probability and statistics course. And there might be variations in requirements in specific programs, but ultimately, the students that apply should want to have a career in industry, looking to gain hands-on practical experience. And definitely it is a benefit for our students to have had some professional experience. It's not necessary, but it definitely helps. So if you've had summer internships, that is very helpful, and be sure to note that in your application. And again, our students should be looking for further specialization in their field, or also they could be looking to pivot in a new direction. So here is the application checklist with everything you would need to submit while completing your online application. Certainly, each program requires letter of recommendation, so having your contact information ready for those people. As a professional program, we like to see your resume, so we request that during the application. And I know this isn't the case, in all countries, but in the United States, it is. We do not like to see photos on your application. I think the assumption is that judgments can be made about a person if we see their photo, so we say no photos on the resume. And as a professional program, most companies are looking for just a one-page resume. So if your resume happens to be longer, you'll need to customize it down to one page for the application. And this will be good practice too for when you're job searching and need to tailor it or customize it to the company that you're applying to. There are 2 essays that we require for the application. The academic statement of purpose. This is your opportunity to share your career goals and show how they're in alignment with a professional degree. And then the personal statement is meant to complement and sort of share like other aspects of who you are. So tell a compelling story that showcases your strengths and personal qualities like leadership or resilience. We are looking for your academic transcripts. So the minimum GPA for admission to the MN degree program is a 2.7 on a 4.0 scale, but I should mention that many of our programs want to see higher GPAs. Standardized test scores. So most of our programs do not require the GRE or GMAT. The only program that currently does is operations research and information engineering. So any other program, you do not need to take those tests. But for international students, there is an English language requirement. So you do need to submit test scores for either the TOEFL or the IELTS. And this is a frequent question I get. If you attend a university whose language of instruction is English, that is not sufficient to meet the exemption criteria for the English language requirement. You actually have to be physically present in a country where English is one of the main languages. So unfortunately, yes, if you do study and get your if all your instruction is English, that is not enough. But if you have any questions about that, definitely you can reach out to me. There is an application fee. I think it's $105 currently that you have to pay. And then, as I mentioned, some programs will have specific requirements in addition to the ones listed here. So be sure to check the program that you're applying to's admissions webpage to see what those are. For example, some of our programs require an interview. Others might require a technical rating sample. So just check in on those. All right, next up, tuition and deadlines. So I wanted to talk about paying for your degree. It's typical for professional master's programs in the United States that a student will be paying for the degree themselves. And either out of pocket or through scholarships that they've applied for, or loans is how our students are paying for their degrees, or some combination of that. And the tuition rates are posted by our bursar's office for each year, and the tuition for the 2026-2027 academic year is $73,946, which I appreciate is a lot of money, but I think we've made a really good case of why this degree is so impactful, and And I can jump to my final bullet point. The return on investment is high for the students who complete our program. So even though it is an investment up front, you will get, a lot of reward from completing this degree. And so Duffield Engineering offers a small number of merit-based full and partial tuition fellowships each year. And applicants are considered automatically as long as you apply by February 1st. And then individual MEng programs may also offer partial tuition funding as well.
Yes, for instance, our department does have partial tuition funding, but again, you would have to apply by February 1st for most cases. So if you're considering maybe applying in the future, make sure to note the deadlines.
Yes. So these are application deadlines for now fall 2027 admission. And I think you'll notice right away, of course, that admission deadlines are varying program to program. So, again, please check if there's a program you're interested in, check the website to see what the deadline is. But in terms of the optimal time to apply to a program, it can depend. You'll see that some of our programs offer rolling admission, and they typically review applications as they come in and have a response. Depending on the volume, it might be about 4 weeks on average for a response, maybe less. Those that do not offer rolling admission will wait until after the deadline before reviewing all of the applications together. So it really depends on which program you're applying to and when you should apply. Some advice though, applications will not be reviewed if anything is missing, such as the TOEFL scores or letters of recommendation. So please allow adequate time for test scores to arrive, and be sure to ask your letter writers well in advance of the deadline to make sure that they know when the deadline is. And again, I recommend applying before February 1st because that is the deadline for the consideration for the fellowships. Okay, last slide. So these are some helpful links to find information. And then the QR code will bring you to a webpage that has these links as well. And then that email address, meng-programs@cornell.edu, is an account that I check every day. So you can write to me via that if you have any follow-up questions. But now I'm very happy to take your questions and I will do our best to answer them.
Yeah, and also there are, if you're considering a specific department, usually I think most departments have MEng coordinators. And for instance, for our department, that would be Christina Rose. She also has her specific email address that you can access, and I'm assuming similarly the same for other departments, that you can reach out to them and ask your questions. They are great. They answer almost immediately, and you can even book Zoom sessions with them, and they will be happy to help out. So, Jennifer, you must be tired. So let me help you in maybe with the questions that I see in the Q&A section. We answered some of them already. Let's see. How does Cornell support students in preparing for technical interviews and career placement? They say, and there's a career services specifically for MEng students. Also, for instance, in our department, we have a cohort-based course. It's a required course that you take with the whole MEng student team, and it's called professional development, for instance. And in that course, we prepare you for those technical interviews, and how to do your LinkedIn page, how to fix your resume, that sort of stuff. So there's a good resource on that. And then another question, how do engineering students balance rigorous coursework with extracurricular activities? I guess they are very ambitious students, and it's all about time management, right? So of course, it's going to be a lot of work. You need to have that high energy, and we observe our students usually have that high energy. But it's also I see them having fun, and I see them attending a lot of events. It's all about time management, really. So hopefully you get to experience that. It's a fast-paced program. It's a fast-paced life. But yeah, you get to do it.
And as I said, the degree is a minimum of 30 credits, and we recommend typically that students take about 14 to 16 credits per semester. The maximum you can take is 20, but I do not recommend, because you definitely will not have time for extracurricular activities and fun if you max out your schedule. So I think, trying to get in the 14 to 16 credits per semester is good, and then you can find opportunities to have little breaks. I know with my student ambassador team, we try to do different activities with them, and as an end of the year thank you, there's a Cornell dairy bar on campus. We have I think you would have seen in the earlier slide, we have a College of Agriculture and Life Science, and there's a lot of cows on campus, and then we have our own dairy bar, and the ice cream is very fresh and delicious, and so that is a great study break for students. I think it's a nice walk from the engineering quad to go over there to get your ice cream, and that is fun. And yeah, and there's a lot of club sports and activities that, I think it's important to get some study break time built into your schedule. Otherwise, it can get overwhelming.
And actually on that note, when you're applying, make sure that you show those extracurricular activities that you have previously done in your undergraduate studies, perhaps. So show us in your resume. Because if your resume is just classes, just a high GPA, that often is a question mark. Oh, will they be actually able to enjoy those extracurricular activities while at Cornell, which we want you to. So make sure to mention that you have already achieved those time management. So show proof. I think that's a good advice. Show proof in your resume that you have done extracurricular activities. And so 15 credits per semester may sound low, maybe compared to some Turkish universities. But here there is a good amount of homework and projects. So students here actually do want to do homework. So that's kind of different. And for 1 hour that you spend in class, professors try to give 2 hours of out of class work, and they're really good in balancing that load. So we try not to overload, but we also try not to underload students. Which companies most frequently recruit? I think there was many slides that Jennifer already mentioned. It depends from program to program. What percentage of engineering students secure internships before graduating? So for the MEng degree, if you go into a 2-semester program, you usually do not have time for an internship. If you enroll for a 3-semester program, which some of the departments are now actually establishing their 3-semester MEng degrees, in that case, you will have a summer internship chance, perhaps. That's more of a possibility. So it's usually, at least in our department, internships are not very common. They apply for jobs, but most of my students already secured a job for after graduation, and or a PhD degree, perhaps. But one of my students in my team, they did an internship at Merck, actually. And then they had to freeze their program and then come back, but they were on a different cycle. So yeah, those are possibilities. But yeah, our rates are quite good in terms of finding a job, and usually our students are very picky about the positions that they accept. Sometimes they get a couple offers and they have to choose an offer.
And we
Can
will
you
help you and guide you through that choice,
Yes,
and also how
there
to
of course
negotiate. Yeah.
there are career services to help
Yeah.
you for that. What is collaborative versus competitive culture like within engineering programs? I think it is both. It's a good mixture of both. But I see a lot of camaraderie among students, at least in our department, because we give them cohort-based classes, and there's a good team forming activities that we held for them in the very first week. They already got onto a great start being friends and forming friendships. Of course, it's everybody's, trying to do their best, but I don't see much of that competitive nature, or it's quite friendly here. I feel like. At least in what I have observed so far. Let's see. Can you give examples of recent graduate research projects or innovations? Again, based on, I think I gave two that I know from our department. The one that I'm leading right now, a project with pharma industry. So that's with Merck. And then another is carried with Tesla. There are many, right? Many big companies in doing research. But also some departments, I know the MEng students do projects in collaboration with a professor. So they do their project in a research laboratory. Similar to, and maybe in a less amount of time, of course, similar to a Master of Science project. So again, it depends on the department.
Yeah, I think the faculty sponsored projects for some of the departments, but it'll definitely be like a more practical component of like maybe the research that their PhD students are doing, but they'll have like a certain practical component that the MEng students concentrate on. But there, on most of the web pages for our individual programs, they'll have examples of projects. I know a lot of our there's usually a culminating like project poster activity at the end of the year, and I remember last year walking through the one for electrical and computer engineering. It was just so amazing to see the variety of types of projects that the students got to work on. Because like there was one where it was like, the students had been working on a little like microchip that was going into a satellite. And then there was like another student who is working on like building sustainability, and it just it just can just vary within one program, and there's so many options. And usually at the beginning of the program, the director of the program will present the different options, and the students can select, or like at least choose their top 2 to 3 favorite projects that they'd like to work on, because we really want to match our students with their interests for the project, and and yeah, we're very successful with matching student interests to the project.
Yeah, for instance, in our case, we had, I think, 7 or 8 student teams, and we offered 19 different projects. So, and then you vote on the projects that you like, and you form your teams. And usually each team gets their either top or at most second choice, because there's plenty of choices. Yeah. I'm looking for other questions as we're approaching the end of our session, I think. Evet, katılan herkese teşekkürler bu arada.
Yes, thank you very much for the great presentation, Jennifer and Eda Hanım. We received a lot of questions. Thank you for your answers as well. We believe it was a very beneficial webinar for the attendees.
Yep.
And also, could you please share the email address on the chat box? So if they have further questions, they can contact you later on.
Sure. I think Jennifer is.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, there.
Perfect. So I also would like to thank the participants in Turkish as well. Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz arkadaşlar. Umarım sizin için de faydalı bir webinar olmuştur. Cornell University Mühendislik Programları ile ilgili diğer sorularınız için chat kısmında paylaşılmış olan mail adresinden Jennifer ile iletişime geçebilirsiniz. Bir sonraki webinarlarımızda görüşmek üzere. Thank you very much again, ladies. It was a pleasure to have you in our IEFT Talks.
And thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Yes, appreciate this opportunity to speak with you all.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.